hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots from goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. I can't believe it's already Sunday, February 2nd. We have a loaded day out there on the ice. Normally on Sundays, we have, 4 or 5 games. Today, we are so lucky. We have 9 games on deck. So we're going to jump into each and every single one of these games, and we will do the recap at the end of the show. So thanks, you guys, for jumping in. Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. Let's make some freaking money. Timothy already rolling in with Montreal and the Ducks to go to overtime. That's going to be an interesting one. We have Lane Hudson versus Troy Terry, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Patrick Laine. We got some great playmakers. Montreal being on a losing streak. So let's see if they can break that. Timothy also going with Dallas, New Jersey, Colorado, and Florida. Goalies rule today. Yeah, we're going to have some great goaltending matchups today out there. Now, let's look at the matchup that kicks off first. So the puck will drop at 1:10 Eastern here between the New Jersey Devils and the Buffalo Sabres. This is going to be an interesting one. Buffalo, we know, is coming off that win versus the Nashville Predators. They were able to get a 4-3 win. Their ability to get these wins counts on how they perform in that first period. This is a team that loves to come out, get those goals in the first period, and they have every ability to. Unless they can put a goal on the New Jersey Devils in that first period, I don't think they have a chance of winning this game. The Devils will have Jake Allen in net. We know he's a step down from Jacob Markstrom, but he is, at the end of the day, in my opinion, playing better hockey than Lankican right now. Now, we're looking at a Devils team off a win versus the Flyers. They were able to shut out the Flyers 5-0 on Wednesday. So they're rolling in here with momentum off that big win, sitting third in the Metro. They've been strong out there on the road as well. 14-10-2. So when we look at the odds on this one, why are the New Jersey Devils only a minus 142 favorite? I know they are here at home on the road in this one, but I thought they would have been like a minus 180 favorite. The Buffalo Sabres at plus 118. Now this total 6.5 minus 122 to the under and plus 100 to the over. I do think we see that first period drive out of both of these teams hungry to get on the board. We know the Devils will be rolling with so much momentum, but the Buffalo Sabres as well will be rolling with momentum, winning their last 2 games. So I think we have a fast first period, higher scoring first period. I'll take both teams to score in the first period. It's coming in at plus 160. If you just want to bet the over 1.5 in the first period because you are a little concerned about the Buffalo Sabres, I don't blame you. The over 1.5 is minus 132. And then you could just look at the Devils to score both of those goals. One thing we've seen out of the New Jersey Devils while they've been getting these wins on the road, they haven't been able to cover that puck line. So looking right now, I know they're not in a situation where you'd really have to take puck line if you bet them. I just don't like laying that kind of juice at minus 142. The puck line laying 1.5 at plus 168. When they haven't covered in their last 10, it could be a hard situation. Buffalo really could push them here, but they have played well in Buffalo. They've won 6 of the last 8 meetings in Buffalo and 5 of the last 6 overall. So this is a team that they really have had their number. I do think those trends to the under will hold solid in this game. But again, I like that first period because we know the Devils at some point really can lock down. We've seen Jake Allen be able to get that shutout versus the Flyers in that last game. So we could see that shutdown versus the Sabres here. So the over is 5-2 in the last 7 meetings. We've also seen 10 of the last 12 in Buffalo stay to the over. So strong trends to that over. I'll count on that first period to be the high scoring one there. So that's where I'm going to go. Good morning to you as well. You got Caulfield. I love Caulfield and Tage Thompson and Nathan McKinnon. Is that where you're going with Nate? I'm trying to think who other are called Nate Dogg out there for Nathan McKinnon. So I'm guessing that's where you're going. I like that. Caulfield. And then Tage Thompson and Nate. I think you're talking about Nathan McKinnon. Okay, so first period over 1.5, both teams to score. I think it's your best value in this one. Now, your goal scorers and your points, if you want to parlay some points, I'd look at Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck, and Jason Zucker here for the Sabres. Tuck has been able to score at least one assist in 6 of the last 7 versus the Devils. So he's been able to really step up for the Sabres, getting those assists versus the Devils. So looking at him for his assist tonight, you could also just look at Tuck. Parlayed with Tage Thompson and Jason Zucker for the point. When we look here at the Devils, I'd look Jack Hughes, Timo Meier, and Jesper Bratt. Those are your 3 top playmakers for this team. Okay. Yeah, McKinnon. I was like, come on, there could be another Nate out there, but I just wanted to make sure you were talking Nathan McKinnon there. Okay, let's jump into the next one. Irish King over 6.5, both teams to score first period. Yeah, I do think it gets to that over. Strong trends to that over between these teams. They normally fly over this. I could see this being a 4-3 win here for the New Jersey Devils. And in that case, then again, they don't cover that puck line. So that's where, if you're willing to lay the money line at -142, but I do think the Sabres here at home with Jake Allen in goal, with the Devils off a nice win in that last one, could they overlook the Sabres in this one? Well, they're at the Penguins on Tuesday, so no big look ahead. Coming into this one, they did get the win back in October 3-1. It was a lower scoring game, but I'm expecting that higher scoring game. This could be 3-3 with the Sabres then getting that goal as plus money on the Sabres at home. I just think that first period's a better way to look. Okay, the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Colorado Avalanche is our next game out there. Now, the Flyers are coming in at plus 180 here on the road, taking on Colorado. Colorado coming in nice and strong, over a $2 favorite here. And I do think they deserve this much respect by the books. You guys threw out Nathan McKinnon, Blake, and I do think he's going to be able to score here on Urgent coming out for the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, we've got a total of 5.5 in this one. My concern with taking this under or over is we could see Colorado get 5 goals. Can they get the 6, or can the Flyers score today? I'm not sure how many goals we can count on out of the Philadelphia Flyers. So I do think isolating the team total here of Colorado is the way I want to go. Now, over 3.5 goals for the Colorado Avalanche coming in at -102. The Flyers with Urgent in goal, I just don't trust. They've lost their last 2 games, and they are coming off being shut out by the Isles. The Isles have been rolling hot. Sorokin has been just phenomenal between the pipes. So without Sorokin, with Urgent, of course, no Sorokin. He's with the Isles. But with Urgent in goal here for the Flyers, I think the Colorado Avalanche are going to score. Now, Blackwood has been giving up a couple goals as well. He hasn't looked as solid between the pipes. So can we see a couple? We could see a couple out of the Flyers. They have struggled in Colorado, though. They've only won 1 of the last 5 meetings in Colorado, and versus Colorado, only 3 of the last 11. So this is a team that really has their number. Tyson Forrester, though, has played strong for the Flyers versus the Avs. He's been able to score a goal in 2 of the last games versus the Avs. So if you're looking for a player to circle for the Flyers, I don't want to get there, though, you guys. I really do think you just look at the Avs and you look at a way to bet them. No matter if that's goals tonight, goal scorers tonight. I don't want to lay the juice there, of course, $2 juice. I also don't love the laying the 1.5 at plus 118. Now, that being said, I do think they win this by 2 goals, but I just don't think it's enough value. I would almost look at alt puck lines in this one. Laying 2.5 goals here. Let me just pull it up. Laying 2.5 goals for the Colorado Avalanche is coming in at plus 215. Again, not as much value as I wanted to lay 2.5. Laying 3.5, I could see this being a 5-0 win. It's coming in at plus 520. Now that I've said it, I might just lay 3.5 at plus 520 just for a little sprinkled for something fun in this game. But I think you do look at those goal scorers. Looking at the goal scorers, Nathan McKinnon is coming in at plus 120. Necas coming in here. We know he's going to be on that top line with Nathan McKinnon. He's coming in at plus 210. Cale Makar has been so strong out there for the Colorado Avalanche. He's coming in at plus 310. So I'm inclined to look at the points tonight as well. Now, Necas and McKinnon are so highly juiced, you can't even, and so is Cale Makar, so you can't even take them for the 1+ points parlayed together, because even if you did, because Nathan McKinnon's -500, -200 and change for both of those guys, taking the 3 players for a point tonight then equals parlayed together at plus 107. So not the value we're going to want there. I do think you look at the 2+ points. Nathan MacKinnon for 2+ points at minus 102. Natchez for 2+ points at plus 215. And Kale McCarr for 2+ points at plus 240. I think if you take all three of those guys, put a third of a unit on each, you're going to end up with a solid day. At the end of the day, you really would want Natchez and Kale McCarr if you're getting two of the three, because those guys are 2-1 to your money at plus 215 for Natchez for 2+ points and at plus 240 for Kale McCarr. But Nathan MacKinnon, you got to like slate juice, 2+ points at minus 102. So as long as you hit two of those guys, you're going to be good for those 2+ points. Natchez, they're all on that top line, top defensive line for Kale McCarr. So it makes sense for all of them to be able to get on the board and get on the board multiple times together. Now, if you parlayed all three together, not the value, you guys, don't parlay them together because it's only 6-1 to your money with the parlay of MacKinnon, Natchez, and Kale McCarr for 2+ points. So I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't do that. But I do think those guys do hit the scoreboard often on the Philadelphia Flyers today. I just can't trust this defense. They got shut out again by the Isles 3-0 at home. They're at Utah on Tuesday, home again on Thursday. And we do have Colorado off getting the shutout win versus the St. Louis Blues. They put up 5 goals in that one. They're at Van on Tuesday to kick off a 5-game road trip. Could they be looking ahead to the Vancouver Canucks? I hope not. I do think they really need to get their feet under them, keep this offense clicking like they clicked in the last game versus St. Louis, and the defense flowing the same. If they're able to do that, I think they're going to be able to go into Vancouver and have success. Vancouver, we know, part of trade deals as well. JT Miller now out of that locker room. It should make the Vancouver Canucks a little stronger at home. It will be interesting to see when these two do match up. Now, if you've been doing one thing, Colorado off a win hasn't been strong in their next game as a favorite. So if they won in the prior game like they did in this situation, they've actually lost their next 6 games as a favorite. So if you think the Flyers are barking, that is your trend towards that. I just can't buy in to the fact that Ergen and the Flyers will be able to beat this Colorado team. I think they're way too strong. Colorado's team total over 3.5 at minus 102. They put up 12 goals in the last 3 games. So in 2 of those games, they put up 5 goals. That was on the Rangers and the St. Louis Blues. And then that one game, they did come against Sorokin and were only able to put up those 2. But the over a strong trend between these two, 8-2 in the last 8 meetings. Sorry, 6-2 in the last 8 meetings. Yeah, Nathan MacKinnon, 2+ points. I do think he can get there with 2+ points, minus 102. Can he get 3 points in this one? That's where you'd be laddering up to get more value there. Joe, thanks for joining us today. So if you want to take Nathan MacKinnon for 3+ points, let's just double check the value on Nathan MacKinnon for 3+ points. You guys, I do think he is in for a big day. You look at how fast him and Natchez are going to be out there on the ice, how they're going to be able to get out on the rush. My concern is these two are going to be skating down the ice and one's going to go offside because they're going to be right so close to each other, rushing into the zone. And so we could see those offside calls with these guys until they get really up to speed with each other for how the other one's going to react. So you could see that because they're going to be moving so quick out there on the ice. Natchez is lights out fast. So is MacKinnon. So it's going to be interesting. So 3+ points for MacKinnon, great value. That's coming in at plus 310. You're basically getting fantastic value. I love that. I'm going to bet Nathan MacKinnon for 3+ points. So I cannot say no to that, you guys. Thank you for continuously talking about Nathan MacKinnon because we're going to cash with him today. Okay. Let's jump into the next game here. We have the Montreal Canadiens. The puck will drop at 4 p.m. Eastern with the Montreal Canadiens and the Anaheim Ducks. Now, Montreal is on a downward slide. This was a team that we were talking about that was rolling into places like Vegas and Tampa and getting these upset wins. They were cashing first, left, right, and center as a dog, and we were making so much money with them. And then the wheels fell off the wagon, and the Montreal Canadiens have been sliding, losing their last 4 games. They lost that last game to the Minnesota Wild. They got shut out on Thursday 4-0. Now the Anaheim Ducks, on the other hand, they're coming off the loss on Thursday to my Calgary Flames. They lost that one 4-1. John Gibson in goal tonight, so not Dostal. I don't have faith in John Gibson to really be able to limit opponents. That being said, he does have a 9-12 save percentage, and it's better than Sam Montague here. I am shocked with what we've seen out of Sam Montague in some of these games. Some of these games have just looked terrible, really leading to that save percentage of .899. He should be right around .901. We should see that step up out of Sam Montague, and we do have a fiery young offense here with the Montreal Canadiens. And I do think with how they've been able to put the goals on the goaltending tandem here of the Anaheim Ducks, we're going to see them score today. So they've scored 4 more goals versus the Anaheim Ducks in 2 of the last 3 meetings. I do think we're going to see that goal production, especially when the Ducks have given up 4 goals in their previous 2 games. So we've seen those goals coming in by the Ducks, being allowed by the Ducks, and those goals coming in by Montreal. Montreal has to get back on track, and I do think this is the start of a couple games where they have the Sharks. This is the first game out there on the road of 3. They have the Sharks on deck on Tuesday, and then they're at the Kings on Wednesday. So the likelihood of winning against the Kings, it's going to be a hard one. But they will, especially Kings at home. Kings at home this season, they flipped from last season. They were strong on the road last season. This season, they're strong at home. But they'll face the Kings at home. But the Sharks at home for the Sharks in San Jose on Tuesday. So if they win this one, win the next one, they could win 2 in a row. And then I think they'll struggle versus the Kings. But sitting 11-12-1. So if they're able to get this win tonight, 12-12-1, they will be at on the road. And then we look at the Ducks. They're looking to get to 500 at home as well, sitting 11-12-2 at home on the season, 7th in the Pacific. This is the first game home off 2 out there on the road, but it was 2 weekday games. It was like a Tuesday, Thursday game. We're sitting here Sunday. They are versus the Stars on Tuesday. The last time these teams matched up, Montreal did get that 3-2 win back in October. The Canadiens have struggled, though, in Anaheim. So that is definitely one thing to note. They've only won one of the last 8 meetings, in Anaheim. So this has been a hard place for them to play. And we've seen home ice advantage between these two, the home team winning 16 of the last 21. I would look at the offenses to have the upper hand. We know Troy Terry coming in here nice and hot for the Anaheim Ducks. He's been able to get those goals on the board. And Mason McTavish has scored at least 1 goal in each of the Ducks' last 4 home games. So McTavish has been strong at home. And then we look at the other side, and we keep talking about Celebrini for the Sharks and how well he's doing. We also keep talking about, I keep talking about Dustin Wolf for the Calgary Flames, how strong he's been for a rookie. But Lane Hutson, one player he's doing excellent. I kind of graze over him a little bit because he's kind of sitting in that second spot behind Celebrini, and he's not a goaltender. So we kind of look at him as Celebrini's the best rookie so far. But Lane Hutson, I tell you, he has been killing it out there on the ice. So you look at Lane Hutson coming out here versus Mason McTavish and Troy Terry, and then you got Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Patrick Laine. I do think we're in for a higher scoring game. So I will take the first period over 1.5 goals. It's coming in at -128. Both teams to score in the first period at +164. And I don't trust goaltending on either side. I would look at this one to the over. 4-1 in the last 5 meetings, and Anaheim to the over. But if you just want to look at one team and which team I trust more, I do think Sam Montague is better than his numbers. And I'm waiting for Sam Montague to look like the goaltender we all know he can be. John Gibson, though, the story's written on him. I don't trust John Gibson, you guys. So if you look at Montreal's team total, if you think they can get 4 goals on the board, I did put some money on Montreal's team total over 3.5 goals. It's coming in at +124. I do think they're able to get 4 goals. Now, that being said, then do we only see 2 out of the Ducks and it stays under that total? That is my fear here in this one. 4-2 style game, under 6.5 hits. So give me both teams to score in the first period at +164 and the over 1.5 at -128. And then Montreal's team total over 3.5, but this one could just hit that number of 6 and stay under that total. So it is a nerve-wracking one to the under. You're liking the under 6. I think we hit right on 6, Alvin. It's going to be a nerve-wracking one either way. Again, your playmakers, Lane Hutson, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Patrick Laine here for Montreal. And then Troy Terry and Mason McTavish here for the Anaheim Ducks. Let's look at another game here. Highly competitive game, I do think, between the Vegas Golden Knights tonight and the New York Rangers. Now, the New York Rangers are a dog at home here in the Garden. They're coming in at plus 110. Minus 132 here for the Vegas Golden Knights, a team that we've seen inconsistencies at home as of late, as well as out there on the road. And we got a total of 6.5. Now, nothing against Vegas. Vegas is rolling hot. It's just always surprising in the games that they lose in the fashion they lose in it, because they are sitting first in the Pacific. This is such a strong team. And when they do lose, it's kind of a shocker with the teams that they lose against. Now, the Rangers coming in here losing their last 3. Vegas losing their last 2. Again, that shocker loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets at home in the Fortress in their last game, 2-1. Columbus has been terrible on the road. They have been rolling stronger on the road as of late. So hats off to Columbus to beat Vegas, especially in overtime. And then looking at your goaltending matchup today, we did see both of these teams play. So Vegas didn't play yesterday. The Rangers played yesterday. Vegas played on Thursday versus Columbus. The Rangers played yesterday. So this will be a second night of a back-to-back. They lost yesterday in a game where Igor Shesterkin, I was losing my mind watching him. I don't know what he was doing out there on the ice. The Boston Bruins end up winning that 6-2-3. Igor was the stronger goaltender, but we have those games where those goaltenders just have bad days. So Igor didn't come out like we expected. Swayman was able to record the win there. Boston, we had Pasternak with the hat trick. JT Miller getting the start with the Rangers was able to get 2 goals on the board yesterday. So injected back in to the Rangers lineup, JT Miller from the Vancouver Canucks just came out. He got the first goal of the game. It was outstanding to see him hit the ice nice and hard. He is happy to be a Ranger now. He played in Boston yesterday for them. Look for JT Miller to be able to get the goal tonight here in the Garden. So I'm going to look at JT Miller for the anytime goal. Now, the last time these teams matched up was just in January. We did see the Rangers get that 2-1 win. In that game, we saw both teams score in the second period, and then the Rangers score in the third. They were in Vegas when they got that 2-1 win. The first period went scoreless. And I do think we see the same thing here. Aiden Hill versus Jonathan Quick. Now, Jonathan Quick absolutely has to bring his A game. In that last game, it was Igor Shesterkin who was able to limit them. And when we look at Jonathan Quick's numbers, they're not pretty versus the Vegas Golden Knights. So we need him to stand so tall between the pipes tonight, especially in the first period. I'm going to take the first period under 1.5 at plus 104. I want in and out of this game for a side and for a total, because I could see this one going to overtime. I could see a little bit of puck luck and going over the total, but everything in me tells me Jonathan Quick will stand tall. Aiden Hill will stand tall. We should have a 2-1 style game again, probably in OT. I'm looking for these teams to really lock down defensively. Now, if you do want to look at those goal scorers, though, you know Jack Eichel has been electrifying here for Vegas. He's got 64 total points at the moment. And in his last 5 games, he's been able to get 4 goals. So Jack Eichel rolling hot. When we look at Mika Zibanejad, he has been so strong versus the Vegas Golden Knights. He's been able to put up a goal in 8 of the last 13 versus Vegas. So if you really want goal scorers, it would be Jack Eichel, Mika Zibanejad for me here. We've seen Vegas play really strong in New York, winning 4 of the last 5 meetings. The under has hit in 5 of the last 10, 2 going over and 3 pushing on that total. With the total here for this one at 6.5, minus 120 to the under. I do think it is the right way. I am shocked we don't have a 5.5, but I think it's because we saw last night the Rangers give up so many goals to the Boston Bruins, pushing this total higher than it really should be. I do think Quick can play stronger than what we saw last night. Vegas and Rangers, yeah, you're going the under 6.5. So I do think it has to be the way. Okay, where are you guys going? Sunday, let's make, a happy Sunday, Larry. Let's make some freaking money. I have a hard time hitting my 10-game parlays. Yeah, 10-game parlay is super hard to hit. That is for sure. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. We got the Islanders. The Islanders, hottest team right now. It's Unbelievable. Winning their last 7 games, you guys. Last night, they were able to get the overtime win versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Thank God that game stayed under the total of 5.5. We were riding the under 5.5 in that one. It was terrifying with the Tampa Bay Lightning, what they've been able to do offensively, but we counted on that goaltending matchup, Vasilevskiy versus Sorokin, and it came through. The Isles winning 3-2 in overtime out there on the road. Now they have a backup goaltender brought up from the AHL, and this is my concern. Skarak, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Skarek. Skarak. He's brought up from the AHL. This will be his NHL debut tonight in the AHL. He's gone 5-11 and 14 with a 3.22 goals against average and an .895 save percentage. Now he's going against the reigning Stanley Cup champs. Sometimes you see these AHL goalies brought up in their debut, and for some reason, because Florida doesn't know how to hit them where their weaknesses is, you see them stand on their head and have a great day. With his record in the AHL, I don't think we're going to see that, especially against the Florida Panthers. Now, Spencer Knight will be in tonight for the Florida Panthers, so going to their backup here, but Spencer Knight has a .905 save percentage, so much better than some of the starting goaltenders out there. We've seen the Panthers win their last 2. They got the big win versus Chicago in their last game out yesterday, so second night of back-to-back, 5-1. Second night of a back-to-back here for the Isles as well. I think this winning streak comes to an end. It's also the 4th game in 6 days here for the Isles. It's going to be an absolute struggle. The Isles are 3-7 in their last 10 meetings versus the Florida Panthers as well. And the Florida Panthers won in October 6-3 and have won the last 3 straight at home on their home ice versus the Isles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for the Panthers to come out and hit this kid right away. I think they come out of the gate, hit him. I'm going to take the Florida Panthers first period puck line laying a half a goal at +120. I don't think the defense of the Islanders can lock down enough in front of him. I know this team has won their last 7, but you still look at the power play. You still look at their kill. They're still both weak out there. The Florida Panthers with Matthew Tkachuk, Barkov, Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett should just roll away with this one. Now, we were able to get Sam Reinhart yesterday for goal number 30, so hopefully you guys were able to hit on that. But first in the Atlantic versus 5th in the Metro with a goalie making his AHL debut. How many goals can we lay here with the Florida Panthers is basically what it comes down to. For me, if this kid comes out and stands on his freaking head, I'll be blown away because that AHL record is not solid. And again, reigning Stanley Cup champs here. So I'll take the first period puck line here for the Florida Panthers. And what the heck, I'm going to look at the old puck line laying 3.5 goals here for the Florida Panthers. I could see them winning this 4-0. So the old puck line for the Florida Panthers laying 3.5 is coming in at +420. You guys know I love a +420 bet out there. So I'm going to jump in on that. You guys let me know what you're liking in this matchup. Timothy with Florida on that money line. Yeah, it is absolutely freezing here too. So I can't believe how cold it is. I do not want to go outside today, and I have to take my dogs for a walk. They're going to be upset if they don't. Tarasenko, 1 goal away from 300. That's definitely vast. 1 goal away from 100. Portier, 1 goal away from 200. You guys definitely look at those playmakers today to come out nice and strong. Vladimir Tarasenko is my favorite of those. Okay, let's jump into the next game. You guys, we got so many games to go over. I was really shocked we had 9 games today. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Dallas Stars puck drops here at 6. Like we mentioned with the Columbus Blue Jackets, they are coming off a couple of wins. They won their last 3. Actually, they surprised Vegas. They were able to beat Utah on Friday in OT 3-2. Now, Elvis in net tonight. Elvis's numbers versus the Dallas Stars aren't great. 19-11-3, so able to record those wins. Goals against average of 9 or 289, and then a save percentage of 896. So save percentage could be a little bit better here. We know Columbus has had those struggles on the road. Only 9-14-4 on the road this season, sitting 4th in the Metro. And when we look at the Dallas Stars, you got to love what you see out of the Dallas Stars, especially at home. Sitting 19-7-1 at home on the season. Now, Jake Ottinger expected between the pipes. He's 9-0-1 in 10 games versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, a 7.11 goals against average and a 927 save percentage. Jake Ottinger should be able to steal the Dallas Stars this game. The problem is finding value. So current lines on this one, we do look here at the Dallas Stars. They're minus 275, plus 220 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. If you think this team can pull off the upset, we know any given day out there on the ice, the Dogs can pull off the upset. A little bit of puck luck, momentum shifts, and then these teams can run away with it. It's such a mental game out there on the ice. 5.5 is your total. Minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under, which is a little shocking because I do think this is going to be that under style game. Dallas and Reg, you can't even bet. There's no value. The juice you're going to have to lay is too much. Dallas did win the last meeting 5-2. I was looking to bet the Columbus Blue Jackets team total to the under because I think they're going to struggle to score on Jake Ottinger. Under 2.5 goals is coming in at minus 158. If you're brave enough to take this under 1.5 goals, it is asking a lot, but I could see the win here by the Dallas Stars 3-1. So I could see Columbus go under 1.5 goals. You're going to get great plus money in that one. You also have the fear here. Dallas is rolling in here. They've won their last 4. They beat Vancouver at home Friday 5-3. They've been putting up these goals. So looking at a full game under does make me nervous here with Elvis's numbers versus the Dallas Stars. I'm leaning on maybe live betting this one to the under for Columbus if we come out and see them hit Jake Ottinger really quick, and then we're able to get an under 2.5 with plus money because the books will reflect that goal, especially if it happens right fast out of the gate. I'm also kind of leaning towards the fact that this one stays under that total of 5.5. But again, I'm worried about what Dallas is going to do. So I don't love this game, you guys. It's just, I can't find the value. We've also seen the Columbus Blue Jackets win their last 5 as a dog following an overtime win. They are in that situation. I don't know if they get the win here versus the Dallas Stars, but it is a good situational spot. So you look at them, they're coming off beating the Vancouver Canucks on Friday. They were at home 5-3. They have a 6-game road trip loading. So 3 before the break, 3 after the breaks for the nations. So their road trip looks like this before the break. The Ducks on Tuesday, the Kings on Friday, and the Sharks on Saturday. So, you know, the Ducks and the Sharks, yeah, okay. But the Kings, that is a Friday matchup. I don't know, you guys. I don't know if they're going to be really concerned about that road trip on deck, especially when they know Columbus has come in here winning their last couple. It's a stay off for me. Really, it is. It's a stay off because I can't find value. If I do get an under 2.5 plus 110 here for Columbus, that's where I want to hit, but I'm not getting that value. Yeah, Dallas absolutely wants to win the division for sure. And yeah, I think it's a live bet. I know, Mo, that was a hard one. So I've decided while my mom can be in the building and the Flames can win, I can't. You guys, I've been to 3 games this season for the Calgary Flames, and they've taken the loss each time. Last night versus the Red Wings, they just couldn't get separation. The Red Wings were all over them. It was like there was like 10 players on top of them. And then I went to the Boston game, and then I went to one other earlier in the season. So Boston, they lost to as well. Just hasn't been pretty out there. But let's jump into the next game. We're going to get to talking the Calgary Flames are on the second night of back-to-back in a minute. Firstly, 7 p.m. Eastern, the puck will drop between the St. Louis Blues and the Utah Hockey Club. Now, the Utah Hockey Club is a favorite at home, minus 130. We know this team has been stronger out there on the road. Both of these teams rolling in, not faring so well as of late. St. Louis losing their last 4. They are a plus 108 dog. I do think this is a better team. I love this team, what they bring defensively. I love how gritty Jake Neighbors is in front of the net. We got a total of 5.5. Minus 108 to the under 5.5. And I do know we have so many playmakers on Utah that I trust, like Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller. These guys can really step up. Now, Binghamton versus Connor Ingram. Connor Ingram is confirmed here for Utah. 8, 6, and 4 on the season with a 3.31 goals against average and an 881 save percentage. The St. Louis Blues, while they have lost their last 4, they got shut out Friday to the Colorado Avalanche 5-0. They've been struggling to score. They've scored 2 or fewer goals in 7 of their last 9. And we see Utah here lost their last 4, overtime lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets on Friday, 3-2. So they have been playing in some tighter games than we have seen the St. Louis Blues. I think they've been playing the better hockey as of late, but I can't get out of my head who do I actually think is a better team and has a possibility of winning. Well, this is a battle of the Central, and with how these teams have done so far in the season, Utah is actually ahead in the Central, 5th in the Central right now, but 8, 11, and 6 at home. And when we look at the St. Louis Blues, 6th in the Central, 12, 12, and 3 on the road. Meeting number 3 of 4 between these two. The last meeting will be back in St. Louis, and I think it's in April. We've seen Utah win the first 2 meetings here. Can we see St. Louis take the third? I do think they have a possibility. But again, when we've got 2 teams on a losing streak, not playing great hockey, I'm not going to lay minus 130 here with Utah, and I'm for sure not grabbing the St. Louis Blues at plus 108. I don't have enough value on either side. I do think the play should be the under 5.5 at minus 108 to the under. I think that is your solid bet. But I also think you could throw that out the window as well and just take who you think is going to score a freaking goal tonight, because at the end of the day, someone has to put a goal on the board. I think we get at least 4 goals in this game. Jake Neighbors here has been so gritty and scrappy for the St. Louis Blues. He has a goal in 3 of the last 4 out there on the road for the Blues. He's coming in at plus 360 for the goal tonight. Clayton Keller on the other side for Utah coming in at plus 185. We play a half a unit on both of these guys. We just need one to hit and we will be in the money. So that is where I would go with this game. Again, we don't have to bet every game, you guys. We don't have to take a side. We don't have to take a total. I just give you every single game where I'm going to go with those and my best bets in each and every one of them so that you guys can really make your decision on your own. I don't want to leave out any information on any of these teams just because I don't think it's the best game. I just want to see the goaltending matchup here for the Red Wings and Vancouver. It does look like Demko expected here for the Vancouver Canucks versus, Alex Leon here for the Red Wings. Now, I was talking about the Red Wings last night in Calgary, and I tell you guys, no matter what, even when Calgary was on that last not power play, they pulled their goaltender, so I had the man advantage. It still looked like the Red Wings had so many more players out there on the ice. Their ability defensively in that game, they were all over Calgary. Calgary couldn't get any room. They couldn't get away from Detroit. Dylan Larkin opened that game up with the scoring. Calgary did a pretty solid job, though. You look at the Red Wings, they scored 2 of their 3 goals in the first period. We did see that empty netter for goal number 3. So that was at the Achilles heel of Calgary was that first period. They were able to score in the second, but it just wasn't enough out of them there. So we saw Calgary lose and the Red Wings get that 3-1 win. Now there was like an empty netter that hit right as the buzzer. I thought they were going to make it a 4-1, but they didn't record that last goal. So this team is rolling in, winning their last 5. We've got DeBrincat, we've got Larkin, we got all of these players standing up. Last night, Cam Talbot was phenomenal. Cam Talbot stood so solid between the pipes. Calgary tried their darndest, and they were able to get, 31, 32, 30, I think 34 shots on him last night. Only him allowing that 1 goal. He was so hot. So look tonight for Alex Leon to come out strong, but the Vancouver Canucks will be able to get the shots on him because even though that defense was smothering there for the Red Wings, they still allowed those shots to come in, which was kind of surprising because it just looked like Calgary couldn't get any rhythm going out there on the ice with how smothering they were. So look for Vancouver to get their shots. Demko has been allowing these goals. We know Vancouver at home isn't as solid, but we know JT Miller has been let go from the Vancouver Canucks with all of these trades. We're going to see both of these teams, I think, firing tonight. I think we're going to see some tired legs out of the defense there for the Red Wings with last night's game. This is the first game home for the Vancouver Canucks. They lost to the Dallas Stars on the road in their last game, 5-3. So they allowed those goals to come in. They are 9-10 at home on the season, 6 in the Atlantic here for the Red Wings. I'm just going to roll with the over in this one. So the over coming in at 5.5. I think we get 7 goals. I would alt this to even 6.5. The over 5.5 at -105. I understand why they're thinking it's going to be a lower scoring one, but I think if the Red Wings win this, they're going to push this one over. The Red Wings on the money line, I'm taking a shot, you guys. I loved what I saw out of this team last night. They looked so solid out there on the ice. They're coming in at +130 with some line changes out here. For the Vancouver Canucks, I do think the Red Wings will have the upper hand, especially with the Canucks record at home. Demko in some of these games hasn't looked solid. He's looked like a backup goaltender. That goals against average is a .326 and a .973 save percentage. So I can't trust Demko. Dylan Larkin got the first goal last night for the Red Wings. I think he gets a goal again tonight. You can look at his shots on goal as well, because while Quinn Hughes has been standing nice and tall here for the Vancouver Canucks, I just think those shots are going to be coming out of the Red Wings in this game. And then last but not least, you guys, we are going to look at my Calgary Flames. So my Calgary Flames on the second night of a back-to-back has not been a strong suit for this team. They've absolutely struggled in this situation, and I do think we're going to see some struggles out of them, but they have played really strong in Seattle. So they're coming in as a dog. Let's just pull up lines on this one. I moved my screen over and I cannot see anything. So Calgary is coming in at +126 here on the money line, -152 for the Kraken. I can't get there. Total of 5.5. -122 the over, +100 to the under. In this matchup, I really do think we're going to see some goals out of Calgary. Kraken will score as well. Dan Vladar in net tonight for Calgary. He hasn't been as strong as we have seen Dustin Wolf, which is kind of a heartbreaker. Dan Vladar, we all thought would be the lead goaltender here for the Calgary Flames. It's really looking like Dustin Wolf, even though they're sharing ice time. We are seeing more out of Dustin Wolf at home because that's where his strong suit has been. Dan Vladar needs a solid night. Calgary last night put up 35 shots. They put up a ton of shots on Cam Talbot. If they're able to do that on Joey Daccord here, I do think they can get the win. Now, the Seattle Kraken have allowed 10 goals in their last 3 games. So looking at Calgary's team total, I think is a great way to go. Their team total is only 2.5. Calgary's team total over 2.5 goals at -122. They have lost their last 5 games on the second night of a back-to-back. So instead of taking them for the straight up win, I'll just look at the over 2.5 goals. I think they can put up 3 in this one. The last time these teams met, it was that lower scoring 2-1 win for the Seattle Kraken, but I think Calgary will bring it. I think they should bring it in the first period, but they've actually lost their last 4 first periods here. So if you want to bet on Seattle, I would look first period, but I'm not buying into it. Calgary has won 6 of the last 7 meetings in Seattle. This is a battle of the Pacific. Who would have thought Calgary would be sitting 4th in the Pacific? But those road struggles have been so true. 9-11-4 on the road. Calgary really needs to turn it up if they're hoping to make the playoffs in the wild card spot, because they need every single win they can get to be able to do so. 6th in the Pacific here for the Seattle Kraken. Okay, that's where I'm going to go. I would not look at Nazem Kadri on the road. He was able to get that goal last night. Nazem Kadri is strong at home. I'd look at Jonathan Huberdeau here for the Calgary Flames and Coronado. Coronado has been getting those shots. He's been flying out there on the ice. Matt Coronado for the anytime goal or his shots on goal tonight. 4 shots on goal, 4+ shots on goal, 3+ shots on goal. I'd look at him for either. Maybe OT. Which game are you looking at for overtime? I could see the overtime coming between Detroit and Vancouver, if that is the one. Okay, 1 assist away from 500. Schwartz is 1 assist from 300. Nice. I like where you're going with that. Blues are a good dog today. Okay, I can get behind the St. Louis Blues. I like the St. Louis Blues. I think they're a scrappy team. I just don't love the value we're getting, so I could see the win. And yes, we will do a player point parlay for sure, Mo. So let's get into the recap, you guys. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. My voice is shot. I got to talk 4 hours today on the grid, so make sure you join me. But the voice is raspy. My mom and I were screaming at the game. She gets me screaming. I'm a screamer anyway, so I was yelling at those boys to get their asses moving. You know, I was yelling at them. Okay, let's look at the first game. Puck is dropping here in 10 minutes. Let me just make sure no odds have moved in the last 10 minutes here. Minus 137 for the Devils. Again, you guys, I think the Sabres probably get the win. This is too light of juice on the New Jersey Devils. Feels like the books are begging us. So looking at this matchup, the New Jersey Devils versus the Buffalo Sabres, we do see the Devils rolling in off the shutout win versus the Flyers on Wednesday. The Sabres have won their last two. They got the win versus the Predators. They dug deep. The line is telling me to bet the Sabres at home with that plus money. I think the first period starts off hot. First period, both teams to score is coming in at plus 160. The over 1.5 is minus 132. I love both ways. Tags Thompson, Alex Tuck, and Jason Zucker, your playmakers there for Buffalo. For the New Jersey Devils, they've rolled into Buffalo and they have dominated, and they dominate versus Buffalo. So I don't blame you if you don't take Buffalo here for a sprinkle on that money line. But Jack Hughes, Timo Meier, and Jasper Bratt are your playmakers. These teams trend to that over as well. The Philadelphia Flyers and the Colorado Avalanche. I'm looking for Colorado to dominate Philadelphia today. Urgent and goal for the Flyers. I'm going to take Colorado's team total over 3.5 goals. Is coming in at minus 102. 2+ points for Nathan McKinnon, 2+ points for Martin Necas, and 2+ points for Cale Makar. If you parlay it together, it's only 6-1, but I still think all three legs have the possibility of hitting. If you don't parlay it together, Nathan McKinnon, you are still having to lay juice at minus 102, I believe it was. You're getting Necas and Cale Makar at just over plus 200 for both of them for 2+ points separately. So if we hit 2 of the 3, we're in the money. Hopefully we can hit all 3 guys for their 2+ points tonight. Now, Montreal versus the Anaheim Ducks. I do think this one starts off hot. I think we've got offensive firepower on both sides. I don't trust John Gibson. So with that total, I could see a goal out of Troy Terry, a goal out of McTavish for the Ducks, and then just the 2 goals, and then 4 goals here for Montreal, staying under the 6.5. So I'm going to take Montreal's team total over 3.5. We're getting that at plus money at plus 124. But I will look at both teams to score in the first period. I think it starts off hot at plus 164 and the over 1.5. But again, Lane Hudson, definitely a rookie you want to keep in your mind when you're looking at the Calder Trophy here. He is sitting as the second behind Celebrini. Celebrini is a huge favorite right now, though, at minus 160. Lane Hudson at plus 165 with Dustin Wolf sitting third. But Lane Hudson here for Montreal, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Patrick Laine. And then on the other side, like I said, Troy Terry and McTavish. The Vegas Golden Knights and the New York Rangers. I do think first period under 1.5 all day long, plus 104. I think this is a lower scoring battle here between 2 teams, as long as Jonathan Quick can stand on his head. I do lean to the Rangers getting the win at home here in the Garden because the Zibanejad has played strong versus Vegas, being able to get goals in 8 of the last 13 versus the Vegas Golden Knights. And Jack Eichel, there's no denying how hot he has been. But give me a low-scoring game. Vegas has won the last, or 4 of the last 5 in the Garden, but I'd see the Rangers getting it done. Vegas has had some weird inconsistencies, so it's been strange. The Rangers, but yeah, it's the Rangers, so we know their struggles. JT Miller, first game in the Garden. For the Rangers now, since he was traded, I'd look at him for the anytime goal as well. We know he lit the lamp twice yesterday in the lineup. The Isles versus the Panthers, you guys, the Islanders rolling so hot. Best team in the league right now on the longest streak, winning their last 7, but an AHL goalie making his NHL debut. I don't trust this kid coming up. He's gone 5-11 and 14 in the AHL with a 3.22 goals against average and an .895 save percentage against the reigning Stanley Cup champs of the Florida Panthers, who are coming off that big 5-1 win. Second night of a back-to-back, though, and they're at the Capitals on Tuesday and the Blues on Thursday, home on Saturday versus the Sen. Could this be a look-ahead spot? I just think even if it is, they're still going to dominate in this matchup unless this kid is completely lights out, which we know. We have seen, like Dobbs coming up. We've seen these younger AHL goalies come up and the teams don't have their number and they don't know where to hit them. So I just don't think it's going to happen in this one. We've seen the Florida Panthers. They won that last game back in October, 6-3. They've also won the last 3 meetings versus them in Florida. The Panthers first period puck line laying a half a goals coming in at plus 120. I would lay up to 3.5 on the puck line with the Florida Panthers. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Dallas Stars. Jake Ottinger has been lights out, and I mean lights out, versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's got a 1.77 goals against average and a 927 save percentage versus Columbus in his career. Elvis's numbers are not great versus Dallas, but I do think he's strong enough to keep this one to the under. Gun to my head, if I'm betting this game, I would bet the under 5.5. My concern here is Dallas did win the last meeting 5-2. I do like Columbus's team total, but I freaking hate the juice. Under 2.5 is -158. You guys know I can't get there. If we see Columbus score fast in the first period and we're getting the under 2.5 at plus money, or even at -115, I will hit the under 2.5. But at -158, you guys know it is just a non-bet for me. I think the best thing to do with this game is either bet Dallas, laying 3.5 for an extended puck line for them to win this 4-1 and stay under the 5.5, or just stay off it. Because even Dallas and Wright, you're not getting value. So when we're not getting value, we don't have to bet these games. It's just not something we have to do. The St. Louis Blues and the Utah Hockey Club. I do think St. Louis has the ability to get the win. Both of these teams have lost their last 4. I'm not getting enough value here for St. Louis. If Utah goes up first, and then we're getting St. Louis at +150, +160, give me St. Louis to come back and get the win. That's where I want a live bet. I love what Jake Neighbors brings to the table. He's +360 for a goal. Clayton Keller on the other side for Utah, +185. This should be a lower scoring game. If Utah goes up, I'll live bet the Blues to come back and get the win. I think they're the better team overall. Who's been playing the better hockey, though? Well, they both lost their last 4. Utah, at least, has kept it tight. We're seeing the St. Louis Blues coming off a shutout by the Abs on Friday out there on the road 5-0. And we're seeing the overtime loss versus the Columbus Blue Jackets for Utah. So Utah's been playing better, but I think St. Louis is a better team, the under 5.5. And look at Jake Neighbors, Clayton Keller. But St. Louis, if we get a better 9. The Detroit Red Wings and the Vancouver Canucks, even though the Red Wings were a smothering defensive team last night, I do think here versus Vancouver with Alex Leon and not Cam Talbot in net, we're going to see Vancouver score. But I also think Vancouver will give up the goals with Demko in goal. This team hasn't been strong at home. I love the over in this one. Give me the over 5.5. I expected it to be a 6.5. I do like this one to go to overtime. You guys threw that out. I think it has every possibility of going that way. Back in December, we saw Vancouver win 5-4. I think it can be that high scoring. Dylan Larkin has been so strong out here for the Red Wings. I'd look at him for his shots on goal and anytime goal. And then last but not least, my Calgary Flames versus the Seattle Kraken. Calgary struggles on the second night of back-to-back, but they have dominated versus the Seattle Kraken, and the Kraken struggle to put up those goals, but they allow them to come in. They've allowed 10 goals in their last 3, and Calgary last night was able to put up 34, 35 shots on net versus the Red Wings team that's defense was all over them. So I still think that we're going to see those shots come out of Calgary. I think they can score on Joey Daccord. I'll take Calgary's team total over 2.5 goals at -122. If you think Calgary has the possibility of winning, I wouldn't just look at that plus money on the money line because they are the dog at +126. If Calgary wins, they win this by 2 goals. So it's either Calgary's team total over 2.5 for me, or Calgary. Well, I'm going to bet that, but Calgary, I might sprinkle on the alt puck line laying a 1.5, even though they struggled on the second night of back-to-back. I don't trust the Seattle Kraken right now. And Seattle is coming off a win in their last game out versus the Sharks 6-2, but I don't see it happening 2 games in a row. So you guys, that is the recap here. If we're building a player prop, like I said, for Calgary, I would look at Coronado, and then I would also look at Huberdeau. I don't want to put that in. If we're doing a player prop here, we're going to, of course, put in Nathan McKinnon. Let me just remove some of these bets that I had in there, sitting in there. I remember everything I want to bet after we are done here, you guys. But looking at the Red Wings game, I do want to look at points for Dylan Larkin. It's -180 here for Dylan Larkin for a point. I do think it's worth it. I'm going to stay off. No, you could look at Brock Besner. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I just want to go with the players that I'm really having a lot of faith in. So let's look at Dylan Larkin there. Let's look at Jake Neighbors for the St. Louis Blues for the point. He's a plus 150 for a point tonight. It's absolutely crazy. And then we'll look at Clayton Keller here for Utah. I love both of them to get a point tonight. When we look at the Dallas Stars, Columbus, I want to stay off that. The Florida Panthers and the Isles, I want to stay off that. That backup rookie debut goaltender, I just don't want to touch it. I really don't. Like in the point parlay, I love the Panthers to come out strong, but who knows who's going to get those goals. The Panthers have so many playmakers who can score. The Montreal Canadiens and the Anaheim Ducks, I do think is worth looking at points tonight. Nick Suzuki is normally your go-to. Troy Terry on the other side. I'll look at Troy Terry here for the Ducks. I'm going to look at Lane Thompson for the Montreal Canadiens. I really like what we've seen out of him. And then let's look at that Colorado game because I want to get Nathan MacKinnon in there. I will put Nathan MacKinnon in for 2+ points as soon as I find the line on this one. Versus the Flyers, I think he's in for a big night. So if you just want to put Nathan MacKinnon in for 1+ points in the same game parlay or the long shot parlay, I would. I'm going to put him in for 2+ points. Oh, it won't let me. Okay. So let's just try 1+ points for Nathan MacKinnon. Yeah, it will let me go with the 1+ points for Nathan MacKinnon. I don't want to put anyone else. I would look at Natchez and I would look at Cale Makar as well, but I'll just put Nathan MacKinnon. So 6-leg point parlay. How we're rolling with this one is the 6 legs are Jake Neighbors from the St. Louis Blues for a point, Clayton Keller from Utah for a point, Troy Terry from the Ducks for a point, Lane Hudson from Montreal for a point, Dylan Larkin from the Red Wings for a point, and Nathan MacKinnon from the Colorado Avalanche for a point. 6 legs coming in at plus 1686. Now, if you want to take those 6 legs and I'll read them out one more time. Let me just say one more time. Jake Neighbors from the Blues, Clayton Keller from Utah, Troy Terry from Montreal, from Anaheim, Lane Hudson from Montreal, Dylan Larkin from the Red Wings, Nathan MacKinnon from the Avs. If you just want to do some same game parlays within that, Jake Neighbors and Clayton Keller, same game parlay, St. Louis Blues with the Utah Hockey Club, both for a point, is coming in at plus 239. If you look at the Montreal game versus the Anaheim Ducks, Troy Terry and Lane Hudson, both for a point, plus 183. And then Dylan Larkin for the Red Wings. We don't have a playmaker with Dylan Larkin. We could do just Dylan Larkin. Let me just see if it will let me parlay Dylan Larkin and Nathan MacKinnon for the point. Let me just remove a couple of things here. I've just got to add back in Dylan Larkin, and then I'll let you guys know because I do think Dylan Larkin and Nathan MacKinnon, that should be an easy one for both of those guys to get on the board today. Unless Larkin comes out sluggish on the second night of a back-to-back, I don't think he will. 2-leg parlay. So MacKinnon for a point and Dylan Larkin for points coming in at minus 117. Not as much value as I would like, but again, I do think Nathan MacKinnon, you look at him for 2+ points. Could he get a hat trick today? Yeah, I think Nathan MacKinnon is in for a big day. But you guys, that is it. Thank you so much for joining me here on Pocket with Jo, on SportsGrid TV, on X. Let's make some freaking money today, you guys. It should be a great day out there on the ice. Now, don't forget, I am live on SportsGrid. 4 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern tonight with Scott Wetzel. We will be live betting these games, college basketball, NBA, so make sure you join me. Drop below which league had the biggest blockbuster trade. Is it the NBA? I tell you, waking up and seeing Luka traded, Luka, a Laker, AD, I am blown away. The rich just keep getting richer, you guys. It's going to come to a point where you just don't bet against the Lakers and the Dodgers out there. It's nuts. But do you think it was bigger in the NHL? Because Mikko Rantanen, who would have thought he would have left Colorado? So odd, too, because he says, and it must have got lost in translation somewhere, he would have signed with Colorado and taken a pay cut, taken under market value. Interesting one for sure. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. I appreciate each and every one of you so freaking much for joining me. You don't even understand how happy it makes me to see your guys' names pop up here every single day. So LeBron James got to wave off the trade. It's I'm speechless over it all. So make sure you join me on the grid. We'll be talking about that, and we'll be talking about all of these games. I can't wait to start live betting some of these college games on the hardwood today. I'm going to go finalize my bets right now. So stay tuned. I will get my cup of Joe in as well right away here. So you guys, all the best. Let's make some freaking money. I will see you tomorrow, noon Eastern. I'm hearing rumors. Is there only one game tomorrow? And as for me saying I'm hearing rumors, I'm only seeing on FanDuel a one game listed for tomorrow. And there's only one freaking game listed tomorrow. The Ottawa Senators versus the Nashville Predators, 7 p.m. Eastern, puck drop on Monday. It's going to be a very short show tomorrow. So, but don't worry, on Tuesday, we have every team, it looks like, playing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 games on Tuesday. So you guys, we got a loaded Tuesday, a light Monday, a light Wednesday with 3 games on the board. So join me every single day here on Pocket with Joe. No matter how many games are on deck, we will be here breaking down each and every one of you. See you guys later. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies.